And good afternoon during this novel coronavirus time. I want to talk to you a little bit about because I keep getting people asking me, why do some people say that the coronavirus is a hoax? And I think the people who say that it is a hoax, I think they're off base. It seems to be an actual virus. I personally think the reaction is way overdone, and I'm going on record as saying the reaction is overdone. Small countries like Iceland, Switzerland, smaller communities in various parts of the United States have handled it better. Sweden has a completely different mindset on this. And so that's another chat. That's another talk for another time. But there are people who are asking me, and they're legitimate questions, mostly from high school students. Why are people calling this a hoax? Why would they say such a thing when there does seem to be some legitimate medical, legitimate viral movement? And I go to a couple of things, and I did a podcast on this earlier on why the mainstream media isn't trusted. Let me continue with the short version, with a short one now. Let's do 5, 6, 7 minutes. Every mainstream media outlet, I'm talking, actually let me rephrase, corporate media. A guy named Michael Malice correctly says, call it the corporate media, because mainstream media is the wrong word because their opinions are not mainstream opinions. Fair enough. That makes a lot of sense. So the corporate media every day has its 2 minutes hate against Trump. And even in the novel coronavirus era, they cannot help themselves. They have to have the 2 minutes hate, as in the Orwell novel 1984, where everybody in Oceania gets up at the same time, whether they're at home or at work, and they stand up and they scream at Goldstein and throw things at the screen and just yell hate at Goldstein. And they hate Goldstein. And everybody does it every day at the same time against Goldstein, who they hate. It's conditioning. It's Pavlovian conditioning against Goldstein. So the corporate media does that, and they do that against Donald Trump. Let me explain. Even during the coronavirus time, they have to play that card. And the latest one is, there are actually two things very recently that have come up. And there's like a quinine-based medicine that Trump has been talking about. So instantly, when that medicine, when that potential cure is talked about, because Trump mentioned it, it is, in a sentence, MSNBC, CNN, New York Times, New Yorker, MSNBC, CBS, all of them. It is Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, comma, without evidence, says, and running tandem in that is the fact that Donald Trump speaks in a way where he ignores science. He doesn't. There certainly isn't any science being talked about. And it's funny because it's these progressive liberal types who are atheists and hate religion, yet there's this religious devotion to the word science. And the followers of those corporate media brands religiously repeat the talking point without evidence. And there sure doesn't seem to be a lot of science being used. And it's funny because, Trump is obviously talking about this as a potential cure because he wants the problem to go away. It doesn't help him. The novel coronavirus, COVID-19, does not help Donald Trump. It certainly is going to make him a guaranteed winner in 2020. So you see this all the time. Donald Trump, comma, without evidence, and then he talks about this potential cure. I can't think of it. It's the quinine-based one, Plaxicil. I can't even remember what it's called now. But because he talks about it, it's bad. And it's not something that is to be spoken of or considered by people in polite company. The other latest one is how Donald Trump is talking about this cure, a potential cure, because he has a financial interest. Look at how corrupt Orange Man Bad is. He's just corrupt and despicable, trying to make money off of this. And that's hysterical, because when you look into it, if you do for maybe 48 seconds, he owns a mutual fund from a company where they make some of this stuff. And that cure, this potential cure, quinine-based cure, the patent ran out 20 years ago. So it's cheap to make. Nobody's going to make a killing on this. It's so ridiculous and so out there that when the mainstream media, when they went from, remember, Donald Trump was a racist for closing up trade and travel to China in late January. He wanted to do it earlier. 5 cases were in the United States at the time. 5. They called him a racist and a xenophobe and fearmonger for that in late January. So here you have now more stuff. So when the mainstream media switches from you don't need to wear a mask, wearing a mask is a waste of time, what's your problem? Don't be rude to Chinese people. So when the mainstream media then blows up now, it's, the last month it's been, coronavirus is going to kill everybody in the world. No wonder people think it's a hoax. Why wouldn't they think it's a hoax? You can only think it's a hoax simply because everything the corporate media is doing is a bad joke. Look at the other stuff now real quick. The coronavirus is adversely affecting black people neighborhoods. People of color, as they like to say. The black people are the blacks. They're hurt worse from the coronavirus. Does that mean the virus is racist? Remember, to these people, every disparity in everything, athletic ability, intellectual firepower, earnings, is any disparities because of racism. There's nothing else to talk about. So if the virus is hurting black communities more than suburban white communities or any other community, well, is the virus racist? Is the virus going to get across and burn it on the lawn? It's that bad. And so when you think about it, this was the front cover of the New York Times. Minority communities hurt worse by COVID-19. So racism all the time. A virus is racist. A virus is racist. That's how bad it is. That's ridiculous. Now, I'm at Mount Vernon High School. I don't have any white students. This is how we talk. It's nice being in the bad neighborhood. None of that political correct stuff comes in. And we were clowning on this yesterday in our Zoom call. We're regular people. Just regular folks. Me, a bunch of high school kids. So when the mainstream media pushes the virus is everything and the only thing and we're all going to go down, after their track record, no wonder people are walking around saying it's a hoax. It's not those people's fault. If you're angry at someone talking about the coronavirus as a hoax, don't be angry at them. Be angry at the corporate media. They're the ones to be angry at. That's your directive. Go after corporate media or ignore it. The choice is yours.